This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, well, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Afternoon Show presented by ESEN. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLevin and Tony Gonzalez. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Oh, I'm doing great, man. It's been a good morning so far. Astros ended the losing streak. I shouldn't say ended the losing streak, but we've started off winning a series, right? We won one against Texas, one against Arizona last night. But yeah, I'm just glad that losing was over because I think Houston lost like 4 or 5 damn games in the last week. So it's good to be back on that winning side of it, but I don't know how long it's going to last. But so far, it's doing good.
Well, you know, the thing with Houston, they've been kind of fortunate. I mean, I know that they had that series with Seattle and they lost a couple, but Seattle lost last night, I believe, to Milwaukee. Milwaukee's hotter than hell. But so, I mean, Houston's still 5 games up, so they're still in pretty good shape in their division. I mean, Seattle hasn't been able to gain a ton of ground, even though Houston lost some games. So Houston's been pretty fortunate in that way. Yeah, me and Chris's Reds cut off down 7-0, tried to come back, but lost 10-8. It's hard to get down 7-0 right off the bat and come back. Yeah, hopefully.
Who y'all played last night, Tony?
Played Nationals.
Okay.
Washington jumped all over. Like I said, that's been the Reds' problems. We play teams like that, and we have problems. Seem like we play a lot better against the stronger teams, like the Phillies, the Mets, and teams like that. We play better and win those series, but then we play the so-called weaker teams, and we struggle. Chris, what was your thoughts on that Reds game last night? I know you was watching it, and we was during the show, and you told me down 7-0, and we came back, made it 7-5, but we never could get all the way back.
Yeah, we had chances. The Nationals were just pounding the ball last night. It wasn't like they were hitting home runs, a lot of home runs either. It was in the first inning they had 2 doubles and a triple in the first inning of the game. Scored, and somehow we got out of that inning with only giving up 3 runs. But then we gave up 4 more in the third inning, and then we scored 5 in the top of the fourth to get right back in the game. Ended up giving them 1 more in the 6th. And then we got with 10-8 in 10-7 going into the 9th. We scored 1 in the 9th, and we had a runner on second. I mean, we had the tying run at the plate, just wasn't able to get nothing going. It was just one of those nights because if you watched the Singer didn't have his best stuff, but it wasn't like he was throwing terrible either. They were hitting the ball. Reds hit the ball too. But like you said, you get down 7-0. I don't care who you're playing. It's hard to dig yourself out of that kind of hole. You just leave yourself no room for error the rest of the game. And main thing is, we won the opening series out of the All-Star break against the Mets. We need to bounce back, get this game tonight, and win the next 2 against the Nationals. Win the series.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree. Well, Houston, like Jay said, Houston won last night, so they've won, I believe, 2 in a row now. So see if they get back on a winning streak. Like I said, they're pretty good shape. I think they're still 5 up on Seattle, a team that is struggling a little bit. I know they won their first series coming out of the All-Star break with the Yankees, but man, they lost a game to Toronto last night, a team in their division that now they are behind, and Toronto's playing really well right now. They're on a home winning streak. They're winning quite a few games at home. So, Jay, do you think the Yankees could be in a little bit of trouble right now? I know it's still a long way to go, over 60 games, but.
Yeah, it just seems typical. The Yankees, I don't know if they're in trouble per se because they're still in the wild card, hunt. But in terms of that, and they are, and I got to give Frankie a little credit, right? I mean, they do have a tough division. Toronto's a very tough team. And then the team behind them, I forget who was behind them. Boston. Boston's not a bad team. So I mean, they're not in most of their division is above 500, right? So it's not like they're in a crappy division. I mean, they're in a tough division on the AL side of life. Toronto is just playing really good baseball right now. But like you said, it's a lot of baseball left to be played. But Bellinger, I need a little bit more from him. I think he's got the night off. He's going to play tonight, and then he gets the night off tomorrow. But there's some guys in that team that need to step up a little bit, right? There's some guys on that team. Goldschmidt, I'd like to see more from Goldschmidt on the Yankees side of life. It can't just be all Aaron Judge. I mean, I know Stanton's been hurt and whatever, and I know Schmidt went on Tommy John not too long ago, and they haven't had the presence of Cole and things like that. So and Rodon didn't have a good pitching night last night. So there are some issues. In some ways, almost the Yankees are kind of like the Astros in a way that, in terms of injuries, right? In terms of their depleted rotation, right? I mean, hitting-wise, they're fine, healthy-wise, but on that pitching side of it for the Yankees, that's the same. They're going through the same problems what the Astros are going through. And I don't know if they can survive it any more than I think Houston can survive it without a solid rotation going into it. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions that still surround that Yankees team, and probably just about as many questions that surrounds the Astros team at this point, right? And so I don't know. I mean, we'll see as we get closer to playoffs if they can eat, or actually not really even that. Actually, we should know before the 31st of the month whether or not the Yankees or the Astros are going to be buying pitching, getting ready for the playoffs. And I got to imagine that they got to do something. The Astros got to do something. They can't go in the playoffs with the pitching staff that they have, and neither can the Yankees. The Yankees cannot go into the playoffs with any sort of expectation with the rotation that they have. They need to pick up another starter to help it out.
Let me ask you guys, everybody talks about the Astros and especially the Yankees, and people will be expecting the Dodgers to try to do something too. But this year you got Milwaukee right now, now in first in their division. They usually are not big buyers, but could they try to make a move? The Cubs is a team that's right back in it, and they're only a game out of first from Milwaukee. Could they be buyers? Could Detroit? I know. They got the second best record in baseball. Could they be buyers? So there's going to be a lot of buyers out there. So there's going to be a lot of tough competition to get players. So some of these teams that want to get players may not be able to get them. I mean, it's because there's going to be. I mean, like you said, there's 15, 16 teams within 7 games of having the best record in baseball. So there's a lot of. I would think would be a lot of buyers. Chris, what do you think? Do you think that it could be a little tougher for the Yankees and the Dodgers and some of those teams? I'm not saying they won't get their players, but there's going to be a lot of competition for players.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could be. And the other thing is, you never know who's. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, they got to buy. They need to buy at the trade deadline." You don't even know who's going to be available. There might not be that many big name players that can help a team available, and so that right there can make it even harder too. Because I mean, yeah, you can want to get somebody all you want, but if you can't find a team to deal with you, it don't matter. So I think for that reason and the reason you're saying there is quite a few teams that feel like they have a chance going into the second half that might try to make a move. But sometimes the worst thing you can do is go make a big move. Sometimes, like if you're a team like the Brewers that's been hot, sometimes going and making a big move can mess with your chemistry the opposite way.
Yeah. Well,
so you also have to be careful about that as well, about who you're bringing in and making sure that they fit in with your culture and everything. Is not going to make things go the other way, because we've seen that happen as well.
Well, a team like Detroit, who's been pretty solid all year long, they've got 60 wins, I think. Would they want to make a move, or do they say, "Hey, man, we've been pretty much the best team in baseball almost all year long. We'll stand pat. We think we're good where we're at." So, but then again, a player could come available that's not expecting to say, "Man, we can't pass this up." This bat could make a difference. He could be our designated hitter, or this, that, or the other. So, like you said, a lot of things can happen. There's players that might become available that weren't expected. There's players that may not be. People think that are available. Like all the experts say, "Oh, this guy can be had. This guy can be had." That may not be true.
Yeah, I look at a team like the Cubs I look at a team like Milwaukee. Both of those guys, or both of those teams, are at the top of their division, but also top of the standings, I should say. Not the division, but the top of MLB. I think Milwaukee's like number 1. I think Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Cubs are like number 2, I think, in all of baseball right now in terms of record, right?
Probably
So
right behind Detroit.
Yeah. So, when you get a team like Milwaukee, which I think has one of the best pitching rotations in baseball, unless they want to add another bat, which I don't think they need to because their offense is doing well and they're on an 11-game win streak. I think like Chris says, I think you leave it alone. I don't think you give up assets. If you don't have to give up assets, don't give up assets. And I think the way they're playing right now, they don't need to give up assets. I think the same thing for the Cubs. Unless the Cubs feel like they don't have enough going in, they shouldn't give up the assets. You look at a team like Houston. Let me use them for an example, just because, they have a huge disparity at the start rotation. But, yeah, we don't have a lot of assets, truthfully, to really give up. We got a couple, maybe like 2 or 3 guys in our minor league rotation that maybe we could give up, or maybe some draft capital, but we don't have a lot to necessarily give up. So I don't know who the Astros are going to even be able to get, even if there was a guy available, because I don't know if the draft capital or the minor league capital, whatever, is going to be enough to entice them to trade. Yankees, though, I mean, they might be able to make that kind of trade. I know they should have. I don't know what their farm system is looking like, but they should have some good draft picks. Maybe they have. But that's another consideration, too. Do you really want to give a draft capital like Milwaukee or Chicago if you don't need to? I don't think you always have to be a buyer, like Chris said. You don't always have to be a buyer. I think you can stay right where you are.
Chris, let me ask you a question about the Reds. I know both of us have thought they need a bat. I also, and the bullpen, but I'm a little worried about the starting rotation. I'm not if Green comes back, but that's not a definite. Do you think it would be worth their while, and do you think they would entertain if there's a pitcher out there that maybe not going to be a guy that they're going to pay and he's going to be there next year, but a guy that would be a loan, because there's going to be some people, there's a couple pitchers out there that would be a loan for this season. And that's one thing the Reds do have. They have a lot of assets. Well, do you think they would be willing to give up an asset to bring in, to strengthen up that starting pitching? Because like I said, Green is a question mark. We don't know. He's not pitched a lot this year. I think maybe 10 starts, if that. So what do you think?
I mean, I think it all depends on if they think Green's going to be back. And from what I heard from all the reports yesterday, it sounds like they expect that he should be back pretty soon. But I mean, this is the second time this season he's had trouble with that growing. So you do have to worry about that a little bit. I just think it depends on how they think that growing is healed up in his time off, and if they think he's going to be healthy the rest of the season. If they think he's going to be healthy, I don't see him doing anything because our starting pitcher staff has been pretty damn good without him being there. And if you add him back to it, we should be even a lot better, especially the way Abbott's been pitching and Lodolo's been pitching good. Singer and Martinez both have been real consistent. I mean, I think our team ERA is 3-something. So I mean, our ERA isn't bad as starting pitching goes. So I don't think they'll make a move for it. But like I said, if they do, that tells me that they're not comfortable with where Green's at, and they're worried a little bit about that. That if they do go after a pitcher, that's especially a starting pitcher, that would tell me they're a little worried about Green.
Yeah, that's true.
I was looking at one more thing about the Milwaukee and Chicago. I was looking at their run differentials. Even if you look at the offensive side of it and all, Milwaukee's at plus 91 and Chicago's at plus 115. So I think when you look at their pitching rotation, when you look at their run differential, when you look at, the fact that, they're top of the league, everything seems to be going in their direction right now for Milwaukee and Chicago. Yeah, if they actually pull the trigger on anything, I would be hugely surprised. But I do think, you guys are Cincinnati is at plus 35 on the run differential. Maybe you want to pick up another bat if you're gearing up for the playoffs, if you feel like you have the opportunity for that.
Yep, that's a possibility. Okay, guys, something happened last night that hadn't happened in a long time. The Philadelphia Phillies beat the Red Sox, but that wasn't just the main story. It was with a walk-off interference on the catcher in the bottom of the 10th inning with the bases loaded and no outs. Mando Sosa up the bat, and the catcher hits his bat on a half swing, and the game's over. So that's the first time that's happened since 1971. That's pretty unusual, and I didn't get to see it. I just read about it. Did either one of you guys get to see that?
I didn't get to see it. I was watching something else, but I did talk with Philly Sports Guy, and he was basically saying that the catcher reached in a little bit, and when he hit the ball or he hit the tip of the glove, whatever, so they catches interference on it. Obviously, that ended the game right there. It was a walk-off, but yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, sometimes, and it's not that the catcher interference hasn't been hit. I mean, we get that all the time. That was just the first time it's been a walk-off with catcher interference since I think you said 1971, right?
Yep.
Wow. I mean, what a time to make a mistake like that. I mean, I understand how it can happen because maybe you're getting aggressive trying to get the ball, whatever. I understand the same things like that happen, but man, it just sucks when that one mistake is a game ender.
Chris, you umpired a bunch of games and you coached and played baseball. What is that? Why? What would the catcher be thinking or doing in that situation when the base is loaded? You got no outs. What is he? What is he trying to do? Why has he been that aggressive in that situation?
Well, I didn't see it, so it's hard for me to say. But if it was a breaking ball or something, a lot of times you see catchers kind of reach for it because they'll sometimes try to catch it before it bounces. You know what I mean? Like, especially if there's a runner on base and the guy's throwing a curveball and it's going to be in the dirt. Sometimes you'll see them catchers kind of reach forward and they'll try to get it right before it hits the dirt, so they don't have to play that short hop. And that's when you a lot of times see catcher interference. Like I said, I didn't see this one, but like in Little League, that's when I saw it the most. Was like on a low pitch. You would see the catchers kind of reach out trying to catch it before it hit the ground, and then the bat would hit the glove. And another thing, you see these major league hitters. I mean, these major league hitters are good at, if they see the catcher up there, they're also good at. Hey, obviously you catch a reach, and they're good at getting them hands back a little farther on that swing and getting that head of that bat back another inch to try to get that call as well. So I mean, if you don't put it past them hitters, if they're up there and they see that and they're noticing that catcher's reaching, or and the catcher hugs the plate, they're going to get in the back of that box, and when they swing, they might give it a little bit of lean to get that extra inch to see if they can get a piece of the glove and get that base. So it didn't happen a lot when I umpired, but you saw it happen. But a lot of times it was just, especially with kids, they just get a little anxious, the ball coming, and they'll reach for it. But with like high school and older kids, when I notice that happen the most is usually on a breaking ball when they know the ball is going in the dirt and they're trying to maybe cheat it a little bit and try to get it before it hits the dirt, especially if there's base runners on. That way they don't have to worry about a pass ball.
From what I read, the pitch came in, the guy went to swing, and he checked his swing and brought his bat back. So that could have been, he could have checked the swing, brought his bat back, and the catcher was just going for the ball like on a breaking pitch.
Well, but the thing is that he had to hit the glove on the check swing because they wouldn't call catcher's interference on the backswing.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? Like if I swing the bat and then I bring it back like this and I hit the catcher glove, that's not catcher's interference. It has to be on my front swing.
Okay. On the attempt.
So when he checked it, when he done the check swing, he must have touched the glove then. Okay. Because if he would have checked and then when he's bringing it back hit the glove, there wouldn't have been no interference call because that didn't affect the plane of the bat.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can bring this up real quick. I got this off ESPN, and I think it's, if I got the right clip on there. I don't think I have the right clip. Yeah, here it is. I'm just going to blow that up.
Yeah, the catcher it was an outside pitch. Catcher just reached out for it, and the batter just stuck his bat out there and touched the catcher's glove. You'll be able to see it right here. Look, he reaches.
Yeah.
He just touches the top of the glove on his check swing. That was just that right there was the catcher not expecting the guy to sit. That was the batter being smart because that pitch wasn't even a strike.
Yep.
That catcher didn't expect the batter to swing, and so he reached out to get it because it was a ball, and the batter was just smart and reached out there and touched the glove and won the game. To me, that was more Sosa being smart than anything.
Yeah,
That's what happened. It was an outside pitch. The catcher didn't expect him to swing, and he reached out to get it. That batter said, "Cheat, thank you."
Yeah. Yep. And again, that's just good situational awareness on the hitter to recognize that.
I didn't see this. It might have just happened. If it happened earlier, I hadn't seen it yet. But Glenn saying R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne.
Really?
So,
Well,
no.
I've seen an interview. I seen an interview the other day, here a week or two ago, about the time he did that concert, that final concert, where he said that, hey, I'm dying. He said, I'm dying. The Parkinson's is killing me. I'm dying. So I was wondering how long it was going to be. This is a little faster than what I thought. But he said in that interview that he was dying.
Well, I hate to say it, but after he announced that was his last concert on the 4th of July, I didn't think it'd be too much longer because he was one of them guys that was going to play music till he was gone. And it just felt like when he was giving that up that he knew it was about over. But yeah,
wow.
Glenn said just happened.
Wow. Wow.
I saw him in concert a couple times.
Wow.
Well, we had a big loss yesterday. Theo from the Crosby Show, the actor Malcolm Jamal. Can't remember his last name now. But anyway, he played Theo in the Crosby Show. He drowned and passed away at the age of 55 yesterday.
I did see that.
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Malcolm Jamal Warner. I did see that. 76, right? I'll be honest with you. Anybody who's ever known anything about Ozzy, you know that man put his body through hell.
Oh,
I'm even surprised he made it to 76, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to be like dead in his 30s, with all the craziness that he was doing to his body. I mean, it's insane. He lived a hell of a lot longer than I thought.
Definitely great rock and roller. Where do you think he ranks as far as rock and roller guys? Top 50 for sure, right?
Oh, God, yes, man. Ozzy, I mean, he defined the whole metal genre, I mean, for the most part. I mean, he redefined it. So you got to put up, I mean, in heavy metal, I put him at number one, in all honesty.
What do you think, Chris? You think the number one heavy metal?
Oh, man. I don't know if I'd have him at number one, but he's up there real high.
I was thinking that
I'd really have to kind of think about it. And
I don't know who you'd put in front of him.
I mean, if Led Zeppelin was heavy metal, you could maybe make a case for them, but they're not. They're more like a rock band. I mean, I think of heavy metal, I'm thinking Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, AC/DC, Metallica, whatever, right? But I mean, how do you get bigger than Ozzy? I don't know. I mean, you could maybe make a case for Metallica as a band, not Hetfield, but as a band. But I mean, you talk about a single individual person. I mean, I don't know how you'd get anything bigger than that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. That's sad. But
that is sad. It's sad that he's not with us anymore. But he had a hell of a good life, though. He had a lot of fun in his life. I'm pretty sure he lived his life to the fullest.
Yeah, he did. Made a lot of money.
Yeah. And it wasn't like Sharon needed all that money because Sharon's family, she already came from money. So,
yep.
What a time to be alive.
Well, guys, you guys got anything else on baseball before we move to a little NFL?
No, I think that was for me. That was all I was thinking about the baseball, really.
Not a lot going on in baseball, but the big story to me is Trey Hendrickson. Cincinnati Bengals says he's not reporting to training camp, and it sounds like they're a long ways away from getting a deal. He says he won't play, so he's pretty upset. They keep telling him every year up until this year they take care of him. now I guess the Bengals owner has said that well, we gave him a raise, that's good enough. So yeah, I don't know, guys. Who do you side with? Do you side with the Bengals? Do you side with Hendrickson? I kind of side with Hendrickson on this myself. I think the Bengals are being cheap, and that owner has been cheap many times. And I know it's hard to say he's been cheap because he's paid his wide receivers, he's paid his quarterback, but I guess he's not going to pay his defense. Chris, what do you think?
At this point, I'm going to be surprised if Hendrickson plays this season. If he does play, I think it's going to be with a different team. But the Bengals owner said today that they're not trading him, and he also said that. But then he also said that Hendrickson gets him when it comes to dealing with the contracts negotiation. That Hendrickson pushes hard and gets emotional. And it's like, yeah, of course he does. It's his future. It's his money. Like, he's going to be. I think the Bengals have pissed him off so much where I don't know if it's repairable at this point. I'm kind of surprised he hadn't already been traded. I figured he was going to get traded. Bengals are saying they're not going to trade him, but I think Hendrickson's willing to take a stand and sit out. And he's 30 years old, so yeah, you really don't want to miss a whole season. But even if he does sit out and miss a season, he will get somebody will sign him next year, and he's going to get a big deal. I mean, hell, he's led the NFL in sacks the last 2 seasons. T.J. Watt just became the highest paid non-quarterback, and if you look at production, Hendrickson's outproduced him the last 2 years. If you look at sacks and stuff like that, Hendrickson outproduced him the last 2 years. So, like, the dude's going to get paid somewhere. But yeah, I think the Bengals are fumbling it. I'm usually a guy that, hey, you signed the contract, play it. But I mean, he has up until this year, and like this is the 3rd year in a row that they keep telling him, oh, we'll get your contract done next year. I mean, he's tried to work with them for 2 years, and they haven't worked with him. So on this, I'm more on Hendrickson's side because he ain't just demanding a trade, and like he's tried to work with the team.
Yeah.
For 2 years to negotiate a new contract, and they keep just kind of brushing them off. So, hey, at some point, I'd be saying "fuck you" as well. So, I'm on Hendrickson's side here, and I'll be surprised if he plays a snap for the Bengals this year. I think he's dug in, and he's willing to set if the Bengals don't give him a contract.
Yeah, because he's got a lot to lose. I mean, I know he'd get paid a good amount of money this year, but if he plays for the Bengals and then gets hurt, he's kind of screwed. I mean, so I understand that. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think Henderson. I'm on his side of this part of the equation. I think the Bengals pigeonholed themselves into this situation. Giving all the money to Higgins, not so much Chase or Burrow, but paying that much money for a wide receiver too, even though I know he deserves it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but what I'm saying is when you're giving that much of your money to your wide receiver too, then you are pigeonholing yourself that you can't afford to pay Hendrickson or anybody in your defense what they require. And like Gonzo said, I mean, he's led the league in sacks a couple of times. He's right there at the same caliber with T.J. Watt. So why would he not want to get paid? Hell, I would want to get paid if I know that my level of play is pretty damn up there with the Parsons and T.J. Watts and all them. Yeah, I want my bite of the apple too. Why am I not getting my piece, right? Especially when I know I'm your main guy on your defense. Especially since your boy Stewart over there is going to argue about some damn contract language. About contract detrimental to the team and things like that, when everybody in the damn team has that in their contracts as well. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, and I don't think they have the money to pay him. So what are they going to do?
Well, they have the money. I mean, they could pay him if they wanted to, but their problem is they don't want to spend that money. And you're right, they did pigeonhole themselves, but I think they pigeonholed themselves a different way. If you take care of these contracts with your star players early, if you had took care of it last year, the year before, instead of keep pushing it down the road, they done the same thing that Jerry Jones does with the Cowboys. You could have took care of Dak earlier. You didn't, so then it cost you more money.
Exactly.
Now Dallas is doing the same thing with Parsons, and the same thing with the Bengals with Hendrickson. If you took care of it 2 years ago, it would have saved you money because you probably got him for 33, 34 million a year. Now it's going to cost you 41, 42 million a year, and you don't want to pay it, and you caused this by just keep kicking the can down the road. And we've seen the Cowboys do it a lot. A lot of teams do it. A lot of teams do it, but we've seen Jerry Jones do it with a lot of his stars. Pays them late and ends up costing them more money. And to me, that's what the Bengals did here is they pigeonholed themselves where if you took care of this earlier, now this year you just signed Chase and Higgins to all this money. You just took care of Burrow last year, so now you don't want to do it with him this year. You want to try to push it off again. Well, if you done it 2 years ago, you still have him under contract for a couple years after signing all these other guys.
Go ahead.
No, and that really kind of makes me even kind of go even further into this. And like, your GMs, presidents, they're the ones that give the final decision. But who is their staff below them? All your financial guys, right? They got the big degrees, right? Where are all these guys? They're all in their finance room telling these presidents and GMs, hey, are they? Are they giving them the good advice? Like, hey, maybe you should, like Gunzo said, Jerry, if you get him now, we want to pay Dak 60 later. Just do it. I mean, are they giving that? And is Jerry just wanting them off? Like, no, we're going to wait anyway. And is that the same thing that Cincinnati was doing? I mean, I just wonder where these finance departments, like how much ownership is on them for not giving good advice to these general managers or the general managers just ignoring the good advice.
And guys, and Chris, I know because you've said this before. Why did the Bengals lose the games they lost last year? It wasn't because of their offense. It was because of the defense. They lost, and now you're going to give up your best defensive player, so your defense is going to have to get worse. Now, their point of view could be, hey, he's a great defensive player, but our defense still sucked with him last year, so maybe we don't need him. I don't think that makes sense because I think he is one of the best defensive players in football.
You got to have a pass rusher on your defense. Like, you got that's one of the most important parts of your defense is affecting the quarterback. Like, you got to have that. He's one of the best, if not the best in the league at it. Like, it don't add up. It don't make sense. I mean, without him, they're definitely going to be a worse team. I mean, they're just had a defense. If their defense could have just held teams to 23, 24 points last year, 24 points, Bengals would have been right there with a chance to win that division. Would have been a playoff team.
Chris, are you sitting there telling me that defense wins championships?
The Bengals were scoring over 30. They were scoring over 30 points a game. Like, they were scoring 30 points a game and losing.
Yep.
Like, I mean, if their defense could have just held a team under 24 points or 224 points, not even under 24, 224 points, they don't win most of their games last year. Like,
I'm going to restate that, Chris. Are you telling me in the whole world that defense wins championships? Is that what you're saying?
You have to have a defense to win championships. It's not all defense.
I'm just saying. Maybe somebody should tell Cincinnati that.
You have to have some kind of a defense.
I mean, hey, I'm just saying. Maybe somebody should tell Cincinnati that, right? But also, going back, this is we're in the Cincinnati defensive bubble here. So Shmuel Stewart is the 17th pick, is the only one that's not signed.
That's on the Bengals' fellow.
And apparently, this is not the Bengals' fault at all. The sticking point negotiations, according to Brown, is the dispute over the language in Stewart's rookie contract pertaining to potential conduct detrimental to the team. And I guess the Bengals are the last team in the league to put that phrase into their contract. Every other team has it in there. So I don't know what Stewart is thinking. If that's their sticking point, if that's the sticking point, well, hell, he might as well just leave the NFL right now because every other team's going to have that same clause in their contracts. So it's not on the Bengals, this one. This is a person, and it goes on to say, and this is Brown saying this. He says, he's listening. He's talking about Stewart. He's listening to advice that he's paying for. Or sorry, Tobin said this. Tobin said the owner. He says he's listening to advice that he's paying for. Tobin said, "I don't understand the advice. I don't agree with it. I'm not the one paying for it, but that's where it is. If I thought we were treating him unfairly, it would be a different story. But we are treating him fairly with all the rest of the draft picks in this year's draft." Zach Hiller, Stewart's agent, shared a statement with ESPN on other outlets regarding Tobin's comment. Duke Tobin, in parentheses, from the agent, Stewart's agent, Duke Tobin has had no involvement in this negotiation, Hiller said. It seems to be above his pay grade. Wow. That's the agent saying that about the team. Wow. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. But this is where we are. So that makes you think, in this scenario, even if Stewart goes back to school and he says, you know what, I'm not going to play for this team. I'm going to go back to school. I'll come back to the draft for a later date. He comes back. He gets redrafted by another team. What's he going to do? The contract language is still going to be in there, contract detrimental to the team. So is he just never going to play in the NFL?
He's already back in Texas A&M.
Yeah. That's nuts to me. That's a bad agent giving him advice. If I was him, I'd be looking for a different agent. That's just
Yeah, I don't know a lot about that. I remember when it first happened. And Chris, what's your take on it?
From the reports that came out at the beginning of this, I haven't read none of the new stuff, but at the beginning of this, when it all came out, was he was willing to sign what all the other rookies was going to sign. The Bengals tried to throw in a clause that they had put in no other rookies, that wasn't in any other rookies contract, and was trying to get him to sign it, where say if something were to happen and he wouldn't get his guaranteed money. It was a different clause that the Bengals were trying to throw in that they usually don't do. And he said, I'm not your guinea pig. So I understand that part of it. Now, if there's been other negotiations, like I said, I haven't read up on any of the newer stuff. Then I could see. But I know at first when he first got there, the Bengals did try to get it was a whole different thing that they had never done before, and they were trying to basically test it out on him and set a new precedent with him. And he said, I'm not going to be that guy. Now, what's happened since then, I haven't read up on enough to really to have a solid opinion on.
Well, I think what we do know for sure is he's back at A&M. It doesn't look like he's going to entertain anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets put back into the draft next year. And if he balls out, next year with A&M, he could actually improve his draft stat from 17, maybe even up to like number 5 or wherever, depending on the how he fits in that class. But so he's taking a chance on himself. He's still getting his NIL money, right? So it's not like he's hurting for money. So maybe it's not a bad move that he goes back to college and tries to improve his draft stock from 17 and see if he gets it higher and get more money.
See, it says it all stems from Cincinnati's desire to insert a new clause into the rookie's deal. While the language can change, Stewart is slotted for a 4-year, $18.9 million. That's why, because they're slotted. But it was, however, the change in the contract that the Bengals was trying to do would allow the Bengals to void future guarantees in Stewart's contract. That's what they're disputing about. So see, they tried to add a clause. They tried to add a new clause into his deal that they haven't done with anybody else, and he said no.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Okay, guys. Well, yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, what is why is Cincinnati? I don't know. I mean, to me, it seems like Cincinnati.
It's the Bengals bingoing again. The Bengals do. They bingo.
What Brown does. That's what Brown does. He's been notorious for it over the years. Okay, guys, I've got an NFL list here that was done by scouts, a lot of NFL experts and stuff, and it's the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Let's see here. I think we all probably can guess who probably the top 2 or 3 are. Jay, who you think the number 1 quarterback was rated coming into this year?
So what do I think the quarterback rating is for the top quarterback?
Who do you think the number one guy is?
Oh, yeah, and this man, I tell you right now, for me, it's I like what Jaden Daniels. I like what Jaden Daniels with Washington, what he's doing over there in Washington. But for me, it's still Patrick Mahomes. I still got Patrick Mahomes in that top spot.
Okay, Mahomes was number one. Chris, who do you think number two is?
I'll say Josh Allen.
Yep, Allen was two. Number three surprised me a little bit. No, he's got great numbers, but I also think winning should count some. And three was the Cincinnati quarterback.
Oh, Burrow got number three?
Yes.
Wow.
So, and this was done by scouts and agents and owners and all that stuff. So who you guys think number four was?
If Burrow was at 3, I say Lamar Jackson was at 4.
Yeah, I was about to say Lamar.
Yep, Lamar was number 4.
I was surprised that Lamar wasn't 3 and maybe Burrow came in at 4.
Yeah, I would have thought Lamar would have been ahead of Burrow myself. Maybe even a couple other guys.
Personally, if you just go by quarterback play, I would have had Lamar, probably Allen at 1 and the Lamar at 2 and then Mahomes at 3. If you go by their numbers and quarterback play, don't go by don't go by as a team and what they're winning.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at if
you look at Mahomes' numbers, he had one of his worst years last year.
Yeah, he did. Number 5, guys. I'll just tell you, see what you guys think. Jaden Daniels, number 5.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was actually going to say Jaden Daniels.
He had a great year. And if you're just looking at that year, but I don't know. I think that could be a little high. I know he had a great year, but 6 was Matthew Stafford.
I was going to say I wouldn't have Daniels ahead. That's what I was getting ready to say. I wouldn't have Daniels ahead of Stafford yet.
7.
Man, that dude came. Yeah,
I'm going to tell you the same thing you tell me about other people. He's done it 1 year. He's done it 1 year.
That's true. All right. I'll give you that. All right, good point.
No, number 7, guys. Jared Goff. He's another guy that I think is way underrated.
He belongs in the top 10. He does.
He's definitely top 10. Yeah.
No, I made a mistake, guys. Goff was 8. 7 was Herbert of the Chargers.
Wow, they are really pushing Jalen Hurts down the list.
Yeah. Goff was 8. Hurts was 9.
I would have Goff ahead of Herbert.
Oh yeah, I
love Justin Herbert, but Goff has been playing, to me, more consistent and better football the last couple seasons.
Yeah. Goff was 8, Hurts was 9, and 10 Baker Mayfield.
Wow. Okay. Hey, I'm not mad at Baker. I think Baker's doing a good job over there in Tampa. Wow. They must put old Dak. They must put old Dak in number 30.
Guys, there was a lot of uproar about Hurts being 9 and not getting enough respect. But again, you win games. That's important. So, but if you look at his numbers compared to some of the other guys' numbers, they're not near as strong. So I don't know if 9's too low. I mean, do you put him over Goff? Maybe over Herbert? I don't. I think personally, at least as of right now, Goff should be over Herbert. That's just my opinion right now. I think Herbert will get better. But I don't know. Do you think Hurts is too low, Chris, at 9?
I don't know. Who you going? I wouldn't put him ahead of the people you had in the top 8. I wouldn't put him ahead of any of them.
Could you, with the success he had, winning the Super Bowl and everything, could you make an argument to put him over Daniels, since Daniels only done it 1 year?
Well, I wouldn't have Daniels up. I wouldn't have Daniels as high as he was.
Because the guy that's missing from the list, the guy who had a great season and fell off some last year, is the Houston quarterback.
Oh, CJ. Yeah.
I mean, he's not on the list, and he had a fantastic first season, and then struggled a little. No, I won't say struggle, but he didn't have near as good as year.
I think with CJ, he had an amazing first year. His second year kind of took a hit. But in his second year, though, he lost a lot of some of his wide receivers, and he also was changing from different offensive coordinator systems. So I'm giving CJ a little bit of a pause until I want to see what he does next year. Now that they just drafted that one wide receiver Higgins, and what's his name? Their number one guy, Nico Collins. Tank Dell won't be there. Obviously, Tank Dell I think is going to miss another year with his injury, but I'm looking to see what CJ does in year number 3 before I make an opinion on him. I've never been high on Ohio.
Was it just top 10?
Yeah.
I was wondering where they had Brock Purdy at.
Yeah, he wasn't in the 10, which after what he played last year, I don't think he deserved to be in the top 10. I wouldn't say he was way out of it. I wouldn't think Stroud would have been way out of it.
You know what's interesting to me, though? When you look at Hurts, right? Last year, typically he puts up, in 22, he put up 3,700. 23, he put up almost 3,860. And then in 24, he put up 2,903. But I think a lot of that had to do with Saquon, right?
Yeah.
I think Saquon took, bit into a lot of that. But what I like about him, with the exception of 1 year, with the exception of 23, and 23 was not a good year for him because he threw 23 touchdowns, but he threw 15 picks. But last year in 24, he threw 18 touchdowns, 5 picks, and then in 22 he had 6 picks and 22 touchdowns, 16-9 and 6-4, which is his rookie year in 20. I mean, he has an overall QBR of 93.5. He's not. I don't. I gotta go back and look more into Herbert and some of their other stats to see where they are, but I don't know, man. At number 9, I think he's doing pretty freaking good. He's got 85 touchdowns and 39 picks. That's pretty good. I don't know why we haven't said at number 8 or number 9, wherever I had that.
Who in the top 8? Who in the top 8 that was in that top 8? Are you putting them in front of?
I don't think you could put him. I don't think you could put him ahead of Goff or Stafford. Daniels maybe, because Daniels only done it 1 year, and they had Daniels at 5. But you can't put him over Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Stafford, Goff. In my opinion, maybe you could look at Herbert and Daniels maybe, but them would be the only 2 I think you could look at maybe. And Daniels
yeah. I mean, because there's a difference, right? So last year, Herbert put up 3870, but Herbert didn't have much of a running game. That's why I feel like Hurts is kind of getting the slide on that a little bit, because he does have a really phenomenal running back. So they're going to kind of feed off that. But you could make, I understand what you guys are saying. He had 23 touchdowns and he had 3 interceptions with a 101.7. So I mean, I get that. I will say Hurts did have microscopic, a little bit better rating. But I understand what you guys are saying, Herbert. If he stays at number 8, number 9, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us look at they won the Super Bowl, and I think they won as a team, the defense and the offense and everything. I think Hurts, to be successful, and this is not a slide on him because he's not the only quarterback in the league. I think he has to have a strong running game to be successful. I don't think if he has a strong running game, I think he'll struggle more. I don't want to say struggle, but won't be as effective. And there's other quarterbacks that way too. Don't get me wrong. But I think Hurts really has to have that accompaniment to be able to run the football, to make it easier to be able to complete passes for him, because I don't think he's as strong as Mahomes or Allen or some of the others.
Did you see with this when Papa Halliburton was putting on Mac?
No, I didn't see that. I've seen him come out, but I didn't see him do that.
It's fun. Hilarious.
He's just funny when he walks out. When Halliburton's dad just walks out. He's funny. Period. Chris, one thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was hilarious and something I think both of you would think was funny. I was watching a wrestling show, a pay-per-view Sunday night, and they had a choir do the guy's song as it comes out, which is not unusual. But the guy's song, Chris, I'm talking about is Trick Williams, and you know the song that he has. It's called "Whoop That Trick."
Oh yeah.
Well, the choir, this gospel choir is singing "Whoop That Trick." The entrance, I was rolling and cracking up. I couldn't believe this gospel choir was doing this song. It was just killing me. And not only they just didn't do it for 1 minute. It went on for about 6 or 7 minutes.
Wow. And who was this for? Who are they?
The wrestler's Trick Williams. He's the TNA champion and also an NXT WWE wrestler.
Okay.
And it was all a cappella. There was no music. And then they finally start the song with the music, and they sung along with it too. The entrance probably lasted a good 6 or 7 minutes, maybe longer. But I just thought that was freaking hilarious.
I mean, they're not going against God. They're just saying,
no. And also last night, Monday Night Raw was in Jay's Stomping Grounds in Houston, sold out there. I forget the name of the stadium there where the basketball team plays. But they sold out over 14,000. Roman Reigns made an appearance, man, and he blew the lid off that place, man. They went crazy. And he's even when he turned good guy, before he was still acting like a bad guy. It looks like right now he's went full-fledged good guy to me. He's really played to the crowd and give the crowd credit, and that was something he never really did before. And so I think they're really going to lean into him being the good guy this time. So
wow. Okay.
So yeah.
Well, do you think he'll ever get the big crowd, the big title again, or is he out of contention for that?
I don't think he's going to be there enough to probably get a belt again. I think he's just going to be making so many appearances a year, 20, 30 a year. And I don't think he don't need the belt. They've built other guys up. One other thing I want to mention, I did mention SummerSlam. They've already sold for night 1 and night 2 over 40,000 tickets for each show. So, and that shows all the second and third. So they're probably going to be around 45 to 50,000 each night.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. I mean, you're selling out a whole stadium. That's usually almost stadium capacities.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. So, guys, you guys got anything else before we get out of here?
No, I think we touched on all the things I really wanted to hit today. I will say this. We were talking about this on another show. It looks like Angel. What do you think about Angel Reese? It looks like she's doing a little bit better on her scoring. She's not doing quite as many layups. She's doing a little bit more now on the 3-point line, and she's not doing as many rebounds as she was doing earlier. I'm curious to see where the WNBA is going to go. We were talking about this earlier, where it looked like, I guess they signed a TV rights deal, or they're going to be signing a TV rights deal for the WNBA at like $2.2 billion, something like that. So they're expecting the WNBA to actually go from losing money to actually getting money or making money. And I'm wondering when that does happen, how that will eventually affect the players' salaries, because we all know at the All-Star game, they had those pay us what we deserve type T-shirts on. And I'm like, you're getting paid exactly what you deserve because you're losing money as a league. So I'm curious to see when they sign this big TV deal and this collective bargaining agreement, how that's going to affect their salaries going forward.
I didn't know how that worked, but I was watching Colin Cowherd. I watched actually a video, and he was talking about Caitlin Clark and WNBA, and he brought up that they deserve a raise and all that. I guess what they make right now, and I didn't know it was done this way. The NBA's done this way too, that the NBA players get 40 or 50% of what's brought in. That's the deal. Right. WNBA gets 9. They get 9%. So he said he definitely thinks that. He said, I'm not saying they deserve to get 40 or 50% like the NBA, because the NBA's got a lot more stars and than what he said when he said it. The NBA's got 1 star. They've got Caitlin Clark. So there's a big difference. So what do you guys think? They're 9%. What do you think? Do you think they'll come back and offer, okay, guys, we'll double it. We'll give you 20.
Well, you know what's interesting is the WNBA's All-Star game was the second most watched, but still down in terms of viewership from 2024. So I don't know, man.
You know
Yeah,
why?
I think I think the night.
Hey, Jay, you know why it was the second most watched and it was down from last year? Because
Of the
last year you had Caitlin Clark at the All-Star game for
yes,
rookie year. This year, Caitlin Clark didn't
yes.
participate in it. And I know with the All-Star game being here in Indiana, when they announced on Thursday that Caitlin Clark wasn't going to participate, ticket prices here for the 3-point contest and the All-Star game dropped by 50%.
But yet they want us to pay them what we owe them.
The prices dropped by 50% once it was announced Caitlin Clark wasn't going to participate.
Right.
Chris, when I said, do you think 20%, and I seen you shake your head, you say no.
I don't think that it's how can a league double what they're paying their employees when they're losing money? I mean, I can understand if you're going to try to give them some kind of raise, but I don't see how you can double it. Okay, we're going to give you 20%. We're giving you 20% of what? 20% of our 50 million that we lost? Like, I mean, I think they might get up to like 15.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm at. Again, when they signed this TV deal, though,
maybe it'll be like a shorter CB collective bargaining agreement than before, and maybe they'll get like 15, and then see if the league starts growing in the next few years and they make some and are making money. So I think it might be a shorter CBA, so then they can renegotiate if things are moving the right way. But to me, right now, with the way things are going, yeah, you show some potential, but it's all based around one player. And
that's true. If something happens,
she's been hurt a lot this year. What happens if I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope it don't happen. What if next year she has a lot of injuries? And we've seen NBA players that we thought were going to be big stars that never could stay on the court because of injuries. What if that was to happen to their golden goose? They don't have nobody else that draws that kind of numbers right now. So I think it'd be foolish by the WNBA to. I mean, yeah, I understand they need some kind of a raise, but to basically double it, it would be kind of hard because of the financial situation they've been in, and you're basically putting all your eggs in one person.
It's true. That's a good point because Colin Cowherd said it's an investment and people, a lot of big companies lose money. He said WNBA's lost money for 25 years, but they're definitely heading in the right direction. So it's an investment to give them a raise. But like you said, the big key, like he said, the NBA getting 50% or 40%, whatever they're getting, because they have lots of stars. A lot of people that bring people in where the WNBA don't have that. If God forbid, Caitlin Clark goes away tomorrow, the WNBA might be a little better than what they were, but they'd be nowhere like they're out where they're at right now with Caitlin. So they would be, I want to say right back where they were, but they'd be close without Caitlin.
Well, and here's the thing, though. Yahoo Sports put out the WNBA recently secured a landmark media rights deal estimated at $2.2 billion over 11 years. That's averaging about $200 million a year with Disney, ABC, ESPN, NBC Universal, and so forth. The deal, which begins next season, is reportedly the largest in the history of women's sports, according to NPR. The deal represents a significant increase in the league's evaluation. So they should be making, because right now they're making 60 mil. Now they should be going up to 200 mil starting next season. So I got to imagine, even if the players are at 9%, they might get close to 20% with this new media rights deal. They could hit 20%.
Yeah, they signed this media rights deal like last year.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So, but it starts next year. So it starts in 26.
Because it was part of the NBA's deal, and they like branched it off. It was
right. We'll see. I mean, but I think to everybody's point and to Chris's point earlier, you can't pay these people what they're wanting to be paid when the league isn't making what the league should be making to give them what exactly it is they're asking for, right?
Like I said,
It's kind of hard to squeeze blood out of a turnip.
I agree they deserve a raise, but I just
And how many games does WNBA play? They play less, definitely less than half to what the NBA plays.
Right.
So that's got to be.
It's only half the games. Yeah.
And I'd like to know what do the players think that they're owed? That's what I want to know. Like how are they thinking that they should be making $1 million a season? Or I mean, what do the players think they're owed? What in the player's mind? What's the fair pay rate?
I'm sure a lot of those minds, I think they should be making
if these players are thinking they should be making over $1 million. I don't see that, especially. I mean, maybe a couple of them, but
right.
There's not many of them that are going to be, to me, that would be going to be making $1 million. I agree. To me, if you're a professional athlete, you're in that sport, you're making, and the WNBA has that kind of money coming in. Yeah, they're losing money, but you do have income. The minimum player should be making at least 150. There should be nobody in the league making under 150,000, and then go up from there. That should be like your league. That should be like the league minimum. You hear about league minimum in NFL and to me, if it's a professional sport, none of them should be making under 150,000 a year.
Well, you guys said,
they don't have enough stars, and they're not drawing enough where they should be making millions a year yet either. I think it's somewhere in between. It's somewhere in between that.
Well, you said that. I think the guy said yesterday the top person was making on about 250,000. So I couldn't even see them jumping to $1 million. I would say if they went from 250 to 500,000 a year, would be a pretty major jump.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. Somewhere in the middle of, like, the lowest should be like 150, and then your highest is probably going to be somewhere between 500 and maybe 850,000, somewhere between there.
Yeah.
And that's that, and I think that's exactly where it should be at that 2.2 billion evaluation for the rights deal. Yeah, I think that, and they got to know, man. Listen, the WNBA hasn't even been around long enough. The NBA's been around decades and decades, man. I mean, it took a while to get there. They want it instantaneous. They want instant gratification, and it doesn't work that way because you have to break the public has to be brought in at like you said, better marketing, more easier viewership, all these things. They need to develop. There's a lot of things that they still need to develop to get the viewership to pay these players what they're wanting to be paid. I think they just don't understand that.
Yep, definitely.
That's all I had.
All right, guys. Well, everybody have a good day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Go Astros.
Go Reds.
Screw the Reds.
Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube.
I was going to say screw the Yankees, and you attack me, so screw the Astros.
I gotta share the hate. Otherwise, Frankie will think I'm discriminating.
Okay.
Hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at ESCN, and we'll see you guys tomorrow right around 2:00.